Good afternoon. Come on in and let me know if you're around. If you're on the live, I'd love it if you drop in and say hi. Tell me where you're joining me from. Likewise, if you're on the replay, I'd love it if you drop me a hashtag replay. Let me know that you caught this and what you think of the cards and the tapping. And if you're thinking, cards, tapping, what's she on about? Then you very well might be new here, and you're really welcome if you are. My name is Emma Starling, and I am an emotional freedom technique trainer and mentor, and I help healers, coaches, those with a really big mission in this world, do the inner and outer work and get the right tools to take that mission out into the world and really make a difference. So the daily tap is the first step in trying to show as many people as possible how to do a very light-hearted version of EFT tapping. So this is all about affirmational tapping and things like that, but don't be fooled. It can still be really powerful because the tapping is the same process in the body. And when I say tapping, we are tapping on the end points of meridians that are on the face, the top of the body, sometimes the hands. And when we think about how we feel, or we visualize something happen, or we remember something going on in the past, we will have some feelings around that. And if those feelings are getting us down, keeping us stuck, making us stressed, then tapping on the endpoints of meridians while thinking about those things helps to decompress the negative emotion around it, disconnect the triggers and things like that, so that you can come back to center, get revved up again, get peaceful, whatever you need, and go about your day. Now, who doesn't want a bit of that? So the card that I've pulled for today, please bear in mind, I do pull Oracle, Tarot and affirmation cards. So the Oracle deck that I'm using is the Priestess of Light Oracle, and the card that's come out is Setting Boundaries. Now, she is very clearly got her hands up, almost as if she's saying, stop. Stop right there. Okay. But if you notice, the light is coming out from there. So it's with her energy that she is setting boundaries. She's not actually saying anything. So it's really interesting. This card talks about threshold protection and honor. So what I want to ask you today is, how do you do with boundaries? What's your normal kind of modus operandi around them? Do you just kind of drop what you're doing and go and help other people whenever they ask you? Are you somebody who kind of will say, let me think about that and come back to you? Or are you really fierce in your protection of boundaries? Now, we don't have to be fierce, like the big cat behind her. You know, she is protected. Her energy sets the tone. Her shoulders are back. She hasn't got an aggressive look on her face. She's smiling. She's peaceful, but she is definitely protecting her threshold, right? So the way that I do EFT tapping is that I do it in a very somatic way. So it's very body based. And the reason is because trauma lives in the body. Now, we're not dealing with trauma here. This is not a way to get deeper work done. What I would say is that trauma can start to heal itself when your body feels relaxed and safe and out of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. If it's stuck in that perpetually. So the more you tap, even if you're just thinking about more affirmational things, the process is still the same in the body. It still stems the flow of cortisol and adrenaline. It still sends out calming hormones around the body so you can start to feel calmer. It re-engages the prefrontal cortex so you can think straight, be creative, make good decisions. All of that whilst what we call depotentiating, turning down the volume on the emotional charge that of the things that stress you out. So if you link that to this, when you think about setting boundaries, how does it make you feel? So if you, let's test it. If I was to ask you to say either quietly to yourself, if you can't say it out loud, or out loud for best effect, I set and maintain healthy boundaries. Say that out loud and then just notice what happens in your body. You might get a little bit of like a clench, a tension, a tightness, maybe even a fizzing, or maybe it's like a resonant kind of resolute, yeah, I do. That feels true to me. And it's really interesting when you do this experiment and you tune into how that statement feels in your body, particularly when you say it out loud, because when you say it out loud, it's out into the real world and your brain hears it differently rather than when you're saying it in your head. Okay. So if you say that out loud, I set and maintain healthy boundaries. How true does that feel for you? If 10 out of 10 is totally true, no question, 0 is, yeah, not at all true. And just either you can share it in the chat, or you can in the comments, or you can just make a mental note of how true that felt for you. And then we're going to do a round or two of tapping on boundaries, and let's just see how you feel after. So on the side of the hand, just tap where I tap, say what I say, and see how you feel. So even though setting boundaries can sometimes be a challenge for me, right here and right now, I give myself some compassion. And even though maybe other people don't always respect the boundaries I set, right here and right now, I choose to accept myself anyway. And even though the world is challenging, and there's even more need for boundaries and protecting my threshold, get off. Right here and right now, I choose to honour how I feel. For those of you who've just joined, it's a setting boundaries card. Okay. So on the eyebrow with 2 fingers, just follow me round. It can be challenging setting boundaries. Outside of the eye on the corner. Sometimes they hold and sometimes they don't. Under the eye. Sometimes I don't always honour them. Under the nose. Sometimes I feel pressure from others to cave. On the chin. Sometimes I wish I had better boundaries. Collarbones. And in some situations, I have none at all. Or you can adjust that and say less than I'd like, or very few. Under the arm. And even with all these challenges around boundaries, top of the head, I acknowledge that this is my truth and that I'm still a good person. And we're going to do one more round, so follow me round on the eyebrow. Relaxing, releasing, and letting go outside of the eye of anything in the way of me having good boundaries. Under the eye, relaxing and releasing the fear of what other people will think, because that's a big one, right? Under the nose, relaxing and letting go of the fear of setting them in the first place. Chin, of the resentment of having to. Collarbones, and of how hard it can sometimes feel to maintain them. Under the arm, I teach people how to treat me every day. Top of the head. So from here on out, I choose to honour my boundaries with my energy. All right, come to a stop. Take a nice deep breath. Now let's test this. So say again out loud, I set and maintain healthy boundaries. How true does that feel now? Because when you release the things that are making something not feel true or making something feel difficult, then often how true it feels will go up. I would love to know what you think of this. Setting boundaries, of the card, of the tapping. How did you feel before, during, and after the tapping? Spend some time journaling on that, or just jot it down, or even talk to a friend about it, because it's really important that you understand how it makes you feel, not just in your mind, but in your body as well, because as your body begins to feel safer and safer and safer and more calm, the past will start to heal itself and you will become more and more resilient in your everyday life. Now, if this is something that you would like to certify in, my Evolved Energetics Academy is the home of trauma sensitive somatic EFT. Now, that doesn't mean you have to want to deal with other people's trauma in order to get certified in it. But what it does mean is that in an environment like we have these days on the world stage, there's so much going on, politics and finances and everything else that impacts us on a day-to-day basis. There can be a lot of things that are big stresses for people. So even if they don't feel like they're carrying trauma, it can crop up, even if they're trying to do something positive, right? So if you're a coach, a healer, a therapist, a counselor, a mindfulness practitioner, a yoga teacher, a sound healer, you name it, EFT tapping, especially trauma sensitive somatic EFT, can work beautifully alongside whatever it is that you're offering. And even if you're not already that, maybe you're in a corporate job, you're working for somebody else, but you're getting that tap on the shoulder. There's something out there for you. You want to help other people, and there's a way to do it. We are bringing more people into the academy right now. I'm going to put the link below in the comments so that you can have a look for yourself. No pressure. And if what you see resonates with you, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out via direct message or my email, which you will find at the bottom of the information page that I'm going to put in the comments below this video. And I really look forward to welcoming you to the family very, very soon. I'll see you again tomorrow.